shit. Here we go again.
Low, low, man. Low, low, man.
You like contracts, right? You're a contract guy.
I read contracts instead of conventional pornography, yes.
And they're still fucking nerds.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
What's up, everybody? Just some light scuff here as I go to the side here. What's up today? It is Andrew Esquire, American attorney in this Legal Minds, where we teach you, yes, you, to be your own judge talking destiny. This is some undebatable information today. We're going all in. We're going to watch the full Willie Mack video, which is something we will not do in the Fast Facts version. They're just going to get the summary, so you guys get the whole thing. So we're going to do that. That will be linked in the description below, so if you want to go there and cross-reference that afterwards. Kind of going over today the recent controversy and legal issues. So we're not going to go over the whole case with Pixie and how that would apply. I want to go over what happened now, give a rundown, give a background for those who don't know, because according to the poll right now, we've got, 49% of people that are not aware of what's going on, and only 17%. So they say they only know what I've covered before, which isn't related to today, and only 34% say yes. So the vast majority of you don't know what's going on in general. So this will be catching you up on what happened, why it matters legally, and the relevant law to this specific controversy. And there's a lot of speculation that can go on here. A lot of people that can wishful thinking one way or another. Destiny's going to get away with it or he's not. I am going to be covering this as professionally as possible and as seriously as possible. I'm going to say this a little bit later, but I'll say it again now. I don't care one way or another for the inter-streamer wars. I know there's this whole Hassan versus Ethan versus Destiny thing going on. I don't care about any of that. We're going to be focusing on the law today. I will ask you guys, and I guess I'll go ahead and whip out my PP. I know it's a little early, but never too early for the PP. I will whip that out today. Talking about Destiny being trapped legally. We're going to wipe out the content warning. I've had to use this thing more times in the last week than I've used probably over the history of my channel. And I don't like it. I really don't like to have to, be super sensitive about these topics. But today we're talking about stuff that involves explicit materials that may or may not involve a minor. That's a super serious topic. That's super, YouTube is it may hit us with a demonetization today for talking about this, but there needs to be objective information, not just people yelling at each other on the internet, not people making baseless accusations, not people throwing out just crap they don't know what they're talking about. There's a lot of misunderstanding about the basics of the law. So I'm going to lay out some legal basics that are objective and 100% true. They're not debatable. They're not something that anybody can really debate, right? And give everybody a baseline. So hopefully people around the internet can reference my videos, both this one and the Fast Facts, for some objective professional information for a baseline for this discussion, because there needs to be some sort of facts out there, because people just don't understand what's relevant, what's irrelevant. They don't understand how the law related to this works. So we're going to answer all those questions. If you have any questions related to this that you want to ask, please ask them today, because there's a lot of stuff that just people are wildly off about. And even that applies to people on all sides of this, people that are pro-Destiny, anti-Destiny. There's a lot of stuff that's just wildly off. So feel free to ask your questions. No matter what community you come from, you are welcome here, as long as you remain respectful and, obey the rules, no caps, none of that. No trying to bait drama in here. That's not what we're doing today. But be sensitive, be thoughtful in both the live chat and in the comments. And I would deeply appreciate that. Do it for me, guys. Do it for me. Okay, let's get some of these super chats first and we'll keep going. Doug Diaz gifted 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much. Yes. Crimson Splat has 5. Welcome back, Crimson Splat. We also had Keith Lugia gifting 1 earlier, and Andrew W. as a new member. Andrew Gang. Appreciate that. Andrew Gang. Very, 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 very based.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Another Andrew. Also, JP Raven from my Valiant mods. I bet the mods are going to be busy today. Oh, Danielle and JP are going to be busy today. Thank you for gifting, even though I know you're going to be busy. It is very, very appreciated. And it always gives all of my haters really big.
Emotional damage.
Think Max says, don't scuff your pee-pee when you whip it out. No. I'm gentle with it. I'm gentle with whipping it out. I'm a considerate lover when it comes to my pee-pee. And of course, I mean my PowerPoint, right? My PowerPoint. Olga says, Serbian police let SNS throw rocks, bricks, churches. They threw nunchucks. Check my Twitter. Tell Asmongold. Tell Asmongold yourself. If you want to tell him, send it to him. I don't cover politics, so I know that a lot of people want me to get into politics. I really don't cover that. That's not the channel. So if you want me to cover like geopolitics, Hassan and Asmongold might be better streamers for you. This is about the law. That really doesn't have anything to do with American law. So it's not a topic I'm going to cover. Let's see. Max Denius DeCinema says, can I see RKI get smacked? Love your show. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. So let's get into this today. We're not going to waste much time because we got to watch a whole video here. So that's a lot to do. So let's get back into the intro. So as you guys may or may not know, I covered his lawsuit with Pixie. If you want to know about that lawsuit, you can go and check my previous video, right? This is not a Pixie lawsuit update because frankly, there isn't an update yet from Pixie's lawsuit materially. There may be at a certain point, but right now I don't have something that I want to present on this. This controversy and these repercussions are going to go outside of Pixie's lawsuit. Now, they may relate to it in terms of discovery, in terms of Pixie's lawyers going hard in the paint for information. Now that there's been kind of a breach of privilege, they can go after certain information. Yes, but it's not specifically about that because this is now turned into a potentially criminal matter. And yes, Sean is over there. Sean, a potentially criminal, is there stroking his beard as I say potentially criminal. And he did a good job with his coverage and running down of all the statutes here. But my intent is to give the latest controversy and the legal issues. It's not to focus on inter-streamer drama, Chank's nephew, all that good stuff, whether or not Hilla is a valid military target. I've already covered that. That's another video. That's not for today. And last but not least, once again, I have no personal bias for or against Destiny, or really, I don't care how this plays out. I'm just going to give my opinion as I see it as an American lawyer, particularly a Florida lawyer, as this is going down in Florida. So it's very relevant to my area of practice. Wolfie Kingdom says for 15 Malaysian ringgit, dang, back-to-back daily streams with content advisory on. I know, it's nuts. And I have a friend visiting from Korea, so I will be taking a couple days off from live streaming, but I'm going to try to have fast facts up for you. I've got a lot of topics to cover. I do want to try to get a live stream on Vishojo. If I can't, I'll do it as a fast facts because they had a lot to go on there. So don't worry, I'm going to be covering Vishojo. It might be a fast facts or a live, so I can't promise you that. A really busy guy over here, but I try to do the most I can for you because people can't stay out of trouble on the internet. They just cannot control themselves on the internet. So yeah. Also smash a like button. Appreciate it. Okay, so we got the Willie Mack video. I reported Destiny to police. Now, this will give you guys good background. I did a summary slide, and I'll put that up afterwards. But we on this are just going to watch the whole thing, all 4 minutes. I contacted Willie. He didn't have a chance to respond back, but I told him, hey, please don't copyright strike me, bro. I'm giving legal analysis here. So let's watch this, and then we're going to give some legal analysis on it.
Destiny to the police. This is not clickbait and entirely has to do with the DMs he sent me.
And this is background. This is background to what's going on. By the way, today, guys, when I speak about this, and I push it in the chat, if you want me to pay attention to it, refer to it as CSAM, right? That's kind of the acronym. I know a lot of people like cheese pizza, whatever else, and I think I used a pizza emoji in one of my thumbnails, and I get it. That's kind of like the funny way, but just to be professional and objective, I'm using CSAM. That's the official term for it, CSAM, CSAM. So that's where we're going to go with this.
A few days ago, a Reddit post showed that the girl Destiny shared Pixie's nudes with was seemingly confirmed to be 17 years old due to her getting doxxed. There is almost a 0% chance that she was not 17 during that time. So I do what I usually do and reached out to get a comment. He said the girl, Rose, told him she was 19 and in college at the time, and that the leaker...
So very relevant here. Let me pause this. This is super relevant, guys. Willie Mack, this streamer Willie Mack, reached out and Destiny voluntarily talk to him. This is massive legally. He was under no obligation from the court. He had no subpoena. He was not required to talk about this. He was not under duress. Willie Mack didn't say, hey, I have your chihuahua and I'm going to blow the chihuahua's brains out unless you talk to me about this. Or, hey, I stole your jewels or your necklace or, whatever. I stole, your burner phone with your Grinder account. Like it's not something like that. It's just, he's like, yeah, I want to talk. And Destiny wanted to talk. And one of the things with Destiny, and I say this just objectively, is he cannot not talk about stuff. And I think, and that's why the title here is no debating this. Debating this stuff with streamers has not only dug himself in deeper, but it's not going to save him from anything. Ultimately, it's not Willie Mack or Gila or Ethan or Schenk's nephew who is out there and going to, convict him. It's law enforcement. It's the prosecutors, right? So pleasing people on the internet, including myself, right? He doesn't have to prove anything to me, right? Whether my opinion is good or bad of him doesn't really matter anymore. It's really completely out of the hands of anybody on the internet. It's now turned over to law enforcement. So this is the thing that's really bad here. And that voluntary disclosure completely changed the game, right? It completely changed the game. Real quick, Corporal Agent for 10 says, remember to stay hydrated and caffeinated as you navigate the unseasoned course. I'm staying definitely hydrated. I've got my my Thai water here, as you can see. It is indeed very delicious, so I will continue to hydrate as this video plays. Let's continue here.
Who is her ex-boyfriend, confirmed that she lied about her age to him. This is true. In similar scandals, this is where people usually argue, is he lying? Did he actually know the age? Is it his fault if he was catfish? I usually wait for all the details to come out before I comment. This is not why I went to the police. It's because he continued to write. I didn't know this until way later, but the videos she recorded with other guys, the file names are like screen recording, blah, blah, blah. And then he shows me a screenshot of the top of a video clip and says, her boyfriend was recording these on Skype calls. That's absolutely insane to think about him doing all of this if she was 17. Well, this is insane to me because he's saying Rose's boyfriend recorded CP while sending me a screenshot of the alleged CP. So I asked to confirm if he just did that. If you were sending me this, I'm guessing you still have that video. Destiny replies, depends on why you're asking. But yes, I created copies of all of our messages and everything when that court case started. Just to be clear, he's admitting to having alleged CP downloaded on his computer. He literally has the video open as I'm talking to him. I go, bruh, there's been allegations at least since my last video that she was underage, and you still have potential CP of her? He replies, I have an obligation to preserve relevant evidence, etc. So I created backups of all of the important / relevant conversations. He continues, I don't think I'm allowed to delete it, LOL. I don't know if it counts as hiding / destroying evidence. And
we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that. Guys, in the chat, what is the term, channel fans, this is your quiz to see if you've been paying attention in class, in Mindsets class. What is the term for the requirement to preserve evidence when there's an ongoing suit? Class, what is the term that we know? There we go. J Raptors is the first one to get it. First one to get it there. I'll give a shout out to honorable mentions. Keeter, Cun and Stunt. There we go. Ultra Noob, Jonas, Matt, Chaos Theory, Rocket Surgeon, Lee, Living Blooper. You guys are getting in here. The class is paying attention. Pilot Girl, you guys are getting it. You guys are getting it. Pete C, you guys are getting it. Thank you guys for paying attention. See, I knew that you guys would get this, and a lot of the internet does not understand this. We're going to talk about this because there's nuance here. There's nuance here. Destiny is sort of right about this, but he's sort of wrong about this. And this is a big deal. And the reason why I brought that up on my other videos is to teach you guys these terms. So when they come up in cases like this, you're more educated about this. You're like, wait, that is kind of true, right? Destiny's kind of right about that, but there's a catch, right? There's something we're missing here, right?
Like, talk to a lawyer. That seems crazy to me. Who keeps this sort of stuff on their computer without 100% knowing if they're supposed to or not? Isn't that something you want to confirm? I continued, you just let me know you have CP videos saved to your computer. You knew it was alleged that she was underage. You still have them. Do you see how this is? So now I've confirmed that this guy has child porn on his computer. In my 8 years of reaching out to people over allegations, I've never had anyone admit that to me. The last message he sent me was, one, I don't even know 100% of her age was legitimately less than 18 when these were taken. So basically, he's not 100% sure if he has child porn on his computer. He's just 99% sure. Got it. 2, I'm pretty sure I have an obligation to preserve stuff related to my court case. I've talked about it with my lawyer already, specifically with regards to the Rose stuff. So he went from, I don't know if I could delete this, to my lawyer says it's totally fine to keep. I don't know the law, but the idea that his lawyer would tell him to hold on to CP for a civil case just doesn't seem likely to me. I don't know. Law.
Yeah. So here's the law. Here's the law. And I'm going to say this part. You cannot have even one image of CSAM, period. The only people who are allowed to possess CSAM are the government, right? That's it. If you know something, if you have actual knowledge that this is CSAM, you cannot have it. No, that's not a no. It's a no. No, nobody can have this except for the government when they're trying to convict people. That's pretty much the only thing that it's done at that point, right? You cannot do that. That's where people are wrong. And especially the Florida circuit, has ruled that yes, you can definitely not have this stuff. So this is pretty clear in the law. Now, there are other circuits where there's arguments and debates, but the Florida circuit, would this be relevant? Yes, that is the rule, right? Not even one image. Not even one image is okay, right? So yeah, that's the law.
Tube can figure that out. 3, if something were to come out of this, I don't know if I'd want to wipe everything and not have something to turn over to the authorities. If hypothetically, whenever a political creator is about to give a hypothetical, you know you're about to hear some weird shit. If hypothetically her boyfriend or whatever was actually trafficking her or getting her to fuck other dudes on video for him, and if there was ever some kind of investigation into that, am I hurting the chance of looking into him by deleting all of this stuff?
Once again, he doesn't have to talk about this stuff, and that just digs him in deeper because now you're talking about trafficking in CSAM. It just digs him way deeper there.
Oh, so now the reason he's keeping the CP is because of a hypothetical criminal case that he is not pursuing at all. Okay, maybe these reasons are legally sound advice that came from his lawyer. Maybe he's lying and just saying anything to make it sound better to me. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I just know this guy's admitting to having CP in my DMs, 60 gigabytes according to him. Seriously, how does he know the amount if he doesn't have it? Also, how does her boyfriend being in the wrong somehow make Destiny in the right?
And this is the biggest one. I want to point this out here. This is massive. If you guys have been paying attention, this is something that all online streaming creators do, and it's the most annoying thing ever. It's totally wrong legally. And this is something I want to point out. It is not a defense that somebody else did it too, and therefore I shouldn't get in trouble. This is not a real thing. People online need to stop doing this because it's ridiculous. Saying this other person did it, so it's okay. Like I can make a death threat because I had somebody death threat me. No, both of them are wrong. You cannot make a death threat and somebody death threatening you is not okay. You can't do it back. And this is why, people need to get in their head because someone calls you a criminal. Let's say someone called you a felon and said you were a jewelry thief, right? And you're a felon. It doesn't make it okay for you to turn back to them and say, oh, well, you're a murderer, right? No, you've now defamed each other, right? You've said something, assuming both those things are not true, right? Assuming they're not true, right? You've now defamed each other. 2 wrongs don't make a right. This is something people's parents are supposed to teach you. Are we growing up parentless? Like what's going on here? It's a basic tenet of the law that this is not the way that works. You can't go to the court and say, well, he did it too. That never has worked ever legally, period. Right? Unless you're under duress or you're forced to do it, that's different. But that's not this situation here. He's not under duress, right?
Makes no sense. For all he knows, her boyfriend could have been 17 as well. Dude, you were 33. I reported this to the police and recorded my interactions and calls with the detective.
William, how you doing? It's Officer again.
Hello, nice to speak with you again.
Great question.
Sure.
You had screenshots or copies of the
Yes.
What you guys spoke about having child porn and all that?
Yep.
I also sent him my DMs with Destiny. I don't know if anything will come from this. I don't.
Okay, I'll stop it there because it kind of wraps up and I'll let you guys read the rest of it's in the description. You can get it there. So it's been reported. So let me get the super chats and then we'll go into summary there and what's really important to take away from that. First of all, the original venture said Destiny called for the murder of people he disagrees with politically. The most generous description I give him is domestic terrorist. Once again, I read every super chat, but this to me, it can be very relevant subjectively, maybe to you. And as I said, with the creators you watch, be your own judge. I'm not telling you whether to watch Destiny or not. You may have a lot of good reasons not to watch Destiny. This is about his legal repercussions. So I get it. There we go. But that's really not relevant legally here. I Hate Yankee says, whoa, buddy. Carbon for ToS is holding on to CSAM regardless. Yeah, that's not a thing. You cannot do that. That's the problem. 19 kilometers for ToS says 60 plus gigabytes. If all of that is when she's underage, that is a lot. Now, remember, they can decide to charge this as a bundle, like together. Let's say police decide to bring charges. They could charge it as like one charge, or they could break that down. Sometimes they decide to be real a-holes and charge every single image and video. So this could be tons of 60 gigabyte. That could be massive stuff. And there could be other stuff like trafficking, like moving this around. There's all sorts of other charges here that could come down. Potential criminal. Sean did a good job breaking down all the potential charges. I'm not going to go there today because this is more baseline. I think for me, I want to wait till prosecutors say, hey, we're going to go after him for X, right? Because we don't have that yet for sure. I think if it does come, it'll come pretty soon. It'll happen pretty soon. But that's that is a lot of possibility for charges. There's a lot of open possibility for charges. And Higa for 5. Thank you so much for the 5 Legal Mindset memberships. Very generous supporting the channel. Yes. Mickey D for 5. Thank you so much. Urine for 15 says, seriously, with all your legal knowledge, does Destiny have any defense for this? Yes, I'm going to talk about that. Does that have a slight chance? It has a chance, but that doesn't mean it's foolproof. I'm going to talk about that. That's why I said people pay attention. Even if you're a Destiny fan, you should pay attention because I'm going to talk about his defenses and what he can say here. And I'm not going to say it's going to win. It's an uphill battle, but there is a technical defense, and I'm very fair and professional in my assessment. I tell you guys straightforward, the pros, the cons, what's going on, right? Every single way. Mazrova Palma gifted 10 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much.
Emotional damage.
Let's continue here. All right. So here's the summary. Here's what's relevant from this Willie Mack video. And this is the facts you should pay attention to. So Willie Mack contacted Destiny when Rose seemingly confirmed as underage. So the purpose of him contacting Destiny was because he wanted to say, hey, look, it looks like she was confirmed as underage. I think that was confirmed by the farms. Once again, something being confirmed on the internet, it may be factually true, but it's up to law enforcement and the police to also double check and confirm that. So once law enforcement has confirmed that, then it's officially confirmed. Then it's okay. No, 100% duty engaged, everything here, criminal, etc. Right? So once that's in there, and the information online may very well be true. I'm not saying that it's false. I'm saying it could very well be true. It probably is true, right? But once law enforcement double checks the math and double checks the ages and confirms, boom, the duty's going to attach. So Willie Mack was getting ahead of it and asking him that, hey, like this girl was sent explicit material. And then Destiny volunteered. He volunteered. Not because he was forced, he volunteered, likely without consulting his lawyer, and shared a video where Rose was underage, at least a screenshot of a video, right? So this is the issue. He didn't talk to his lawyer. There is no way in hell that he told his lawyer the whole truth. I guarantee you. There is no way in hell that he told the lawyer all the relevant facts, or he kept his lawyer updated on this. If his lawyer knew about this, his lawyer would never tell him to speak with a random streamer online about this. Would never say to get online and start blabbing off or defending people. Like, his lawyer is probably going crazy right now. And to be frank, he probably needs to hire a new lawyer, because this lawyer is probably specializing in his civil suit. Now he needs a lawyer that specializes in, defending this type of thing, because this is a very specific and very serious charge. And of course, I posted the meme. This is from the Niji. For those who know my Niji Sanji era, with the lawyers telling Niji to shut up, I kind of repurposed that one over here. If you guys didn't go here, this is from Flork. It's kind of repurposed, but any lawyer, not just me, would tell him to shut the hell up. Like, this is just absolutely nonsense that you would get out there and you would be arguing with people on the internet. Like, this is obvious, right? It's obvious. You don't need to be a lawyer to know this, right? This is like common sense. Another man says, in before he argues, she was a nudist. He's gulping. Armor Viper says, what's the punishment in Destiny State if he's found guilty? Well, we don't know what he's charged with. So it's speculation. That's too speculative for me right now. So it could be years in prison. It could be financial penalties. It could be, who knows? Who knows? And then, of course, he could be sentenced as a first-time offender. We don't know exactly how this is going to happen. We don't know whether they're even going to bring it. Once again, if there's proof, then obviously I think they will. right? If it's confirmed, if they go in there and confirm, hey, this is all true, I think they will indeed bring the charges. But we need the law enforcement to do that. And once again, I know we're not always patient on the internet, but we do need to be patient with law enforcement kind of doing their thing. And let me bring up Destiny and how he's impatient, because this is his biggest bane. This is his response. And this is his response kind of seething at Ethan and Hassan. And this is everything that's wrong with the internet, is that this is something that clearly he didn't run by his lawyer, but he should not be engaging in this sort of argumentation. It doesn't help him at all. So he's saying almost everything in this DM is wrong. Willie Mack is running cover because he wants to get in with the boys. And Ethan is trying to distance himself from me because he's too weak to deal with Hassan's attacks against him, using me as a vector since he has nothing of substance to contribute. I have no CSAM on my computer. I've only complied with my legal obligations for my court cases. The 60 gigabyte screenshot was related to a claim Rose made, someone whose name and birthday have yet to be reliably confirmed. So what he's trying to say is, oh, the internet confirming it is not reliable. So I don't believe that. Well, guess what? Now you're going to have the police confirming that. And now and if the police confirm that, you're screwed. And I'll put it in the swear jar for this one. If the police confirm it, he's fucked. And I'm sorry, children out there, big, kids, grandma, I'm sorry I cursed there. I'll put some in the swear jar for that one. But seriously, like if he goes out here, doubling and tripling down on this and saying, okay, well, all of this is related to someone whose name not confirmed, but I have that data. He's now tripling down that he has the data in public. All of this, by the way, is admissible in court. All of this is admissible in court. So, it's not going to be able to put the cat back in the box, so to say. Lisa for 5, thank you so much. Leprechaun Gold for 20, thank you. Carbon for 2 says GG. Hammer says some would say it was his destiny. Okay, you know what? This is not generally a funny topic, but that's actually funny. That's actually funny. Thank you, Hammer. Your dad joke.
No. Wait.
Ninja Valkyrie with the swear jar. Thank you for the 2 pounds. Jace Gets for 5 says, Destiny is a collector, enjoys showing off his collection. Deleting the folder for him is like a comic book collector tossing a collector's edition. Yeah, but see the thing, you can't collect CSAM. You can't even have one image of it. It's not yeah. Anyways, let's tell you about the law. Now we're going to explain some law. And once again, I hope you all can listen here. Everybody can listen up. This is helpful for everybody. And this is not helpful just in this case. It's helpful writ large, okay? With everything. Let's talk about preservation of evidence first. Channel fans know the term spoliation. Spoliation is a very real duty. This is something that does exist. So Destiny is right about this, sort of. It applies in the criminal context, in the civil context. It applies to any evidence, physical, digital, anything relevant to the case. If it can be potentially relevant, that's probably the duty engages for spoliation of evidence. You must protect the evidence, not tamper with it, destroy it, alter it in any way. If you alter it, you hide it, you destroy it, you do anything to it, that's punishable, including not just by fines, but by criminal penalties. Okay? And so, yes, Destiny did have to keep stuff related to the case. That's true. However, you cannot keep even one image of CSAM. That's what that's what he doesn't get there. That's what he doesn't get there. And the other thing is candor to the tribunal. So lawyers balance confidentiality with candor to the tribunal or court. So you guys all understand, people understand confidentiality. You've seen Breaking Bad where Saul Goodman says, put $1 in my pocket, right? And confidentiality engaged. You can tell me whatever. Well, technically, yes, confidentiality is super strong. But on paper, lawyers are supposed to disclose certain things to the court, even if it means breaching confidentiality. There are certain things that when you know them, you have to disclose them. And that's the problem here. And that's what he's not getting. So lawyers get away with a lot because they can say, I don't have true knowledge. And they don't have to report a mere suspicion, only actual knowledge. So what lawyers get away with, here's our little trick. I'm going to teach you our trick. Our trick is when you tell us something really bad, we usually say, I don't want to see it and I don't want to really know. You just tell me the facts, like overall, and I can say plausible deniability. I don't know where this is true or not. That's how lawyers can get away with a lot. And there are lawyers on different ethical scales. So there's lawyers that say, hey, I'm a goody two-shoes. I'm a Boy Scout. If you tell me something and I know it's bad, I'm going to report it to the court. But here's the problem. If you do that, you're not going to get a lot of clients because clients aren't going to trust you. They're going to think they can't. It's going to breach confidentiality. So a lot of lawyers, what they do is they lean heavily on the confidentiality side. And how they do that is saying, I don't want to actually know. Don't actually show me. So I can say, oh, well, judge, I didn't really know. I didn't know for sure. And yes, that would include anything, right? So with CSAM saying, hey, I'm not sure whether this is CSAM or not, and we don't know what this is. We don't know what these images are. We don't know who this person is. There's a plausible deniability there. However, what just happened? And once again, let me show you the PowerPoint here. If you discover criminal or fraudulent behavior, if you discover client perjury or fraud on the court, you have to report this to the court. You have to tell the court. So CSAM is a crime. You would have to report that. The lawyer would have to. So the second the lawyer knows that it's CSAM, a duty engages to say something about it. Somebody said mention Roblox. I mean, that's a whole other can of worms, but you're not too far off there, right? Once you know, you have to do something about it. So they pretend not to know. They put their head in their sand, right? You can't put your head in the sand on this one if there's facts out there that lead you to believe, yeah, there's proof that this person is underage, right? AJ said, are you ever going to stream on OnlyFans and better monetize your PP? No. I know Tectone wants it, but he's not going to get it. Mitch says for £5, how are the lawyers able to defend a client with CSAM? It's interesting. Well, once again, lawyers have a duty of zealous advocacy, so they can defend them by saying, well, client, Your Honor, my client didn't know, right? That's how they would defend them. Once again, I don't do this type of defense. It's not my specialty. It's definitely not my specialty. I'm just giving you the general overview. And there's all sorts of lawyers that defend all sorts of people, right? We had OJ, Casey Anthony, famous defense attorneys there. All sorts of, Jose Baez in the Anthony case. All sorts of famous attorneys out there that take their ethical duty seriously, and also the duty towards reasonable doubt and saying, hey, we've got this duty and there's reasonable doubt, and there's always the possibility for reasonable doubt. So I'm going to argue for that. But, different lawyers have different morality. Lawyers are people. Yeah. They may lack souls, but they're people. Doozer Pindon for £5. So it's very tangentially related. But as a lawyer, what are your opinion of Jack Thompson in general and sending him a judge get point? I don't know about that. I have no knowledge of that. And that's not just a candor to the tribunal. That's a candor to chat. I have a separate duty as a streamer of candor to chat. I'm very candid with chat. I'm honest with you guys. I know what the fuck you're talking about. Okay, let's continue. So, privilege waiver. So, if information that was protected by attorney-client privilege is voluntarily disclosed, meaning you are out there disclosing, especially if you're disclosing to a third party or the public, the privilege is waived. Now, there is a difference between inadvertent, accidental, and intentional disclosure. So if I fax somebody, and yes, faxes are used in Japan. So let's say I was faxing my good friend Hiro in Tokyo, my friend Hiro. And he's about to pilot a Gundam, but whatever. I fax him something. It's supposed to be confidential. I might get away with that because it was accidental. Or in the rest of the world, emailing, right? So let's say I was emailing something. It's an accidental email. I CC somebody I'm not supposed to CC. It still can be confidential. But he leaked it intentionally. Voluntarily. He told Willie with no duress. He told Willie openly. So privilege is lost forever on this one. He's never getting this back. This guy is never getting this back. Yes, Gundams have fax machines. You guys didn't know that? It's in every Gundam. The Zaku came with it, default. Who's Destiny? A streamer. Just do your own research on him. 90 kilometers says perhaps an OnlyFans of 500K. No. Well, maybe if I only put up my PP, maybe if I only show my PP, maybe. Okay, let's go a little bit more of the facts here. Let's talk about mistake of fact. So mistake of fact is when a defendant lacked the necessary criminal intent, the mens rea, to commit a crime because they had an honest and reasonable misunderstanding of a factual circumstance at the time of the event. So the best example, let's say I have a very expensive jacket. I don't know what the kids wear these days, but Canada Goose, let's say. right? Let's say it's a nice, expensive Canada Goose shirt or jacket, whatever. And you take it off a coat rack at a restaurant where it's cold and you're all put your jackets up front and you accidentally take somebody else's jacket and it's exactly the same jacket as yours. You would not be guilty of theft because you genuinely thought it was your jacket. If it's same brand, same size, whatever, you take it. Okay, I took somebody else's jacket, but it's not yours. On the inside, you see it's got the initials, NR. You're like, oh, that's definitely not mine. I don't want anything to do with the NR jacket. It's probably dirty, right? You're not guilty of theft there, right? So that's a negation to a specific intent crime, right? However, what's the problem here? This is the big problem. Most, but not all, right? There's a lot of potential criminal charges for CSAM, both at the state and federal level. Most, but not all, are strict liability, which means the individual's state of mind does not matter. It does not matter at all whatsoever, right? So whether or not a person is thinking a certain way doesn't matter. And because of that, generally for strict liability, mistake of fact and mistake of law, like not knowing the law, does not work. It's not a defense. So you can't have even one image. You can't say, oh, I didn't know the law. The law didn't let me have one image of CSAM. No, it doesn't matter. You cannot have even a drop of that. There are exceptions and there are defenses. Now, this is a very complex area of law. I'm going to give you some basic, like you can find it yourself, defenses. I don't know whether Destiny will use these. Obviously, if he's charged, she may get a really good lawyer and try something else, try some procedural victory. But there are some ways that people historically have tried to attack this, right? And there's two specific ways. Number one is attacking the intent crimes. So obviously, for the crimes that are CSAM that have specific intent, you can attack those by saying, hey, I genuinely believe they were an adult, not a child, and I didn't possess the intent to possess or distribute this material. So for the crimes that require specific intent, Destiny may try to defend himself and say, hey, I didn't have the intent for the crime. However, that's not going to work for the other crimes that are specific intent. But what some very creative lawyers have tried. Somebody asked what's CSAM. It's the explicit material involving minors, right? And it's the professional acronym. So we're using that, right? We're using that. Okay. The other thing you can try to do is negate the child element. So what some lawyers have tried to do is they've tried to say, okay, the element of CSAM requires that this person be a child. So because it requires that this person is a child, that element requires intent that you know they're a child. So you have to know they're a child. You have to have that knowledge as a requirement, as an element, even though the statute itself doesn't have intent in it, right? So they negate, essentially you're negating the child word, right? So you're saying, hey, I didn't believe this was a minor, so let's knock that out. That's not a win. And once again, these are not guaranteed. These are maybe sort of if you have a really amazing lawyer and make a really freaking convincing argument. But this is not foolproof. Not at all. Not in any way. Not even close. Not even sort of close. So, and the thing is here, going to the back end here, towards my kind of conclusionary part, where Destiny is certainly now under criminal scrutiny. After he's been reported for this, there's no way that the local police, if not the FBI, aren't looking at this. Without a doubt, they're at least looking into it. I know other streamers that are law tubers have said that he may be picked up soon. It's possible, or at least questioned soon. That's not at all at least him being under investigation is factual. That's not debatable at this point because there's been a report. He gains nothing from continuing to debate people on the internet. And unfortunately, as we saw back here, let's go all the way back. Boop, boop. He's going to continue to do shit like this. I guarantee you. And it's the stupidest thing ever. Because all this is going to do is continue to dig him in, give more grounds. And if he actually goes to the criminal charges, it's going to weaken him. It's going to really hurt him. His only hope is to fully disclose everything to his lawyer, stop talking to people on the internet, and possibly engage a specialist lawyer. That's all he can do at this point. That's the only thing Destiny has left here. Anything else is going to be a strategy that's going to be a loser, right? Because him trying to debate Hassan or Ethan or whatever else, what does that do? What does that do for him? Gives him some internet clout, but internet clout doesn't get you out of jail when you're trading cigarettes for like not getting roughed up in the shower, right? That's not going to help you. It's in the hands of law enforcement now. It's in the hands of people out there that are looking at this that are not streaming. And that's his problem, is that he really can't stop. And once again, he'll probably try to argue with me. He'll probably try to say, oh, well, Andrew doesn't know what he's talking about because he's not super specialist. No, I don't. No, I'm not a super specialist in this. This is not my I'm not a criminal expert in CSAM, right? But I know people that are criminal lawyers, right? And I know a lot about how these things work, right? And I know a lot of prosecutors and law enforcement, particularly in South Florida. I got friends in the South Florida prosecutor's office and law enforcement. I know how these things work, right? This is not going to play well if he continues to dig himself in. And it's just going to cause them to look at this even more closely. Rafael Valenzuela said, going to Thailand, Philippines, Manila, Boracay. Any recommendations? Meetup? Sorry, off topic. Email me. If you guys email me, and if you email me, we can give you some recommendations. Not a on-stream thing, but yeah, happy to do that. That should be great. Sounds like a great Asia trip, so should have fun. Carbon for 5 says, how would law enforcement get a hold of Stevens hard drives or disks? They would just they get a warrant and they go get it. And they've got probable cause for a warrant. So yes, no, that's a really good question. They have enough cause right now. They have enough cause. Daniela dropped me an email to andrewesquirelive@gmail.com. Right there. Boom. Email me. So you can go and get a warrant very easily at this point. And there's probable cause here. There's more than probable cause here. Yeah, FBI open up. At this point, once again, I think criminal investigation is already happening. But beyond that, it's likely imminent. It's likely imminent. So that's what we have. That's what we have today. I wanted to make sure I covered this and got this in for you guys. But I'll keep it brief today because it's a serious topic. It's heavy. We're gonna have Vishojo tomorrow. Mr. Chisa's legal daddy. Make sure you guys like the video. I've got the facts coming up for you guys to get on that one. Let me get a couple here. Breezy said that seriously, I think all these streamers that keep burying themselves have been told and double down because they're self-destructed. And that's the problem. And the thing is, they think when lawyers like me tell them to be quiet, it's whatever for clout. It's genuine good advice. And they can't take the genuine good advice of just shut the hell up and go get a lawyer. Stop debating with Hassan. Stop debating with Ethan. Don't debate with me. You're not going to prove anything to me. I'm not the person you have to prove yourself to. And attacking me or other law tubers is not going to get you out of jail. It's not going to get you out of police suspicion. It's just not going to happen. And anything LT does is just pure coping and seething. So guys, I will see you next time. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. Take care.
You are coping the seething. You just can't believe what you're seeing. It's you coping the seething. The truth it is all day, and now you are molding.